Opinions expressed by the guests and contributors on Conklin and Company are not necessarily those of 13 ABC. Now, Conklin and Company continues with Take 3, commentary and analysis from our panel of political contributors.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, you can say the Toledo mayor's race really will kick into high gear now with the primary, the major candidates filing those petitions this past week. We saw the mayor, Skylar Meadows and London Mitchell, filing his petitions. Joe McNamara officially getting in on Friday. And the others as well. Mike Collins before that, and Anita Lopez before that. So let the race begin. The preliminaries are over, and it's all about jobs. Skylar?
Mm-hmm. Let the race officially begin. First of all, I think that this is the slowest mayor's race that I can remember in racist history. Yes, because yes, fundraising is important, but we are in mid-July now. Festival season is well underway, and I don't see the candidates out in the streets as much as I remember in previous election cycles. That's concerning. That's concerning.
Do you feel the same way, London? That kind of the slow, or is it just the slow summer season? Things will really begin to heat up now. We get into August, leading up to that September
I think you're going
primary.
to see a lot more action. 7 candidates heading into the primary, nonpartisan election. I think you're going to see a lot more heating up. And as you mentioned when we started, jobs apparently is going to be the #1 topic. Although I got to tell you, I think that I would like to see them talking about long-term strategic planning for the city. Let me pick on Joe McNamara when he came out with his, I think, 5-point plan.
5-point.
Those are tactical steps, I think. Give preference to local contractors. That's a tactical step. But what does it talk about long range? How is the community positioning itself for the future? How are we going to embrace more regionalism? When you stop to think about the communities that in this part of the country that are really hot, Indianapolis, Columbus, a lot of regionalism there. How are we going to get past the pettiness that keeps us apart a lot of the time? I'd like to see a lot more talk about long-range strategic planning, visions for the future, as opposed to these short-term things that make you feel good short-term.
Short-term
jobs.
meaning?
Well, talking about jobs, I mean, that's an easy one to debate, I think.
Okay.
But the real issues, how are we going to talk to one another? How are we going to plan regionally for the future to position Toledo so that we have a future, a good future?
But don't we have an arm? We have the Regional Growth Partnership, Dean Monsky and Company. I mean, that is the arm that sometimes the city looks to as well to join part and parcel and team up on that, correct?
Well, they do, but we need to be a lot stronger on that. And it's intriguing that London brings this up because it definitely has been one of the throwback issues that kind of gets put under the rug in the mayoral election. In the 90s and the early 2000s, it's come up in other administrations, and those candidates were demonized for thinking with a regional focus. Now we're forced. We have infrastructure issues, which are huge, that we need to take care of. Empty buildings sitting. We have a lot of land parcels sitting. We have a lot of issues here. So those that want to concentrate on home, they don't want the broad approach of, soliciting any person that will come to Toledo. Well, what's your regional game plan for us? We have to collaborate.
Okay. So with you, we talk about regionalism, but the mayor touted specifics for the first time, really. He generally doesn't like to talk about specific job numbers, but he did this past week, trotting out the Ohio labor market information that 6,100 jobs have been created on his watch since he took over 3.5 years ago. So 6,100 jobs. If you look at the scoreboard, is that a good score, London?
Well, I'm not so sure, because the great increase in jobs, isn't that in the service sector? And I'm thinking that you're really, the basis of your economy really is, what do you make? You got to make something first. And I don't think we've had the replacement in the number of manufacturing jobs that we needed.
He might debate you on that with Jeep and new workers and new shifts and.
But 6,100.
6,100, though.
That's a lot.
I think we have to take in consideration that Mayor Bell is touting this, the incumbent mayor So you have to think about the fact he's going to say these numbers look good, but at the same time, he worked with what he inherited when he walked in the door on the 22nd floor. So you would have to give him another term to see what he could really create. That's one sense of the situation. The second sense of it is, as London's saying, where are the people working? And when is Toledo going to realize we need to move past the post-industrial? I stand with labor, I stand with manufacturing, but we've got to have other things to encourage businesses to come here. They're not just going to wake up and throw a dart and say, let's go to Toledo. We have to attract them.
At one point, at the height of the recession, some said that the real unemployment rate in the city of Toledo was close to 25%. The real unemployment rate. The number here, 8.7 as of May of 2013. The peak 2010, 13.8%. And back at the height in 09 and the latter portion of 08, perhaps higher than that. So if you look at the number itself, it looks as if there certainly is progress, but that mirrors the national trend.
Is it only the mayor's responsibility? Let's think about this globally. Is it only the mayor's responsibility to create jobs? Is that a fair thing to stick the candidates with and the incumbent? That's what we have to think
Doesn't
about.
every race, whether it's the mayor's race in Toledo, Ohio, or the race for the White House, it seems like it all comes down to jobs.
And none of them have proven 100% that they can create all the jobs that they said.
No.
So that's what I'm saying. We have other issues.
Unfair as well, and other issues too. London, final say on that?
Not on the jobs, but a little trivia maybe. I was talking to somebody about the mayoral race. 7 candidates coming in. We do have Anita Lopez. And the person was questioning me, can a woman be a strong mayor for Toledo? This is the first time. And I said, hang on a second, this is the Toledo area. Once upon a time, at the same time, a woman was president of the county commission. We had a woman as mayor. We had a woman as a state senator. We had a woman on the Supreme Court
I think
from
that's
the area.
a ridiculous question.
I did too.
Yeah.
I did too. And I think that we should be beyond that kind of debate.
Please, that ship has sailed.
So I didn't have to
Skylar,
open my mouth and defend.
No, you didn't have to.
It's
did not
obvious.
have to say a word, really.
It's obvious. Toledo is, among other things, very collaborative, and we have a lot of women leaders, so that's just really an odd question.
I think the only word would be please. Stop it. Or that'd be 3 words. Let's talk about the governor's race, because it's actually, for all intents and purposes, it's a race now. A year and a few months out. Governor Kasich enjoys some of his highest approval numbers since he took office, if not the highest. Still touting Ohio as the comeback state, creating a lot of, London, your favorite word, jobs. Jobs. Jobs.
But it's true.
Right?
It's true. And that caused, and we talked about this before, caused a lot of concern during the presidential race, because here was a Republican touting the success of the state and not the, oh geez, President Obama has really stuck it to us. We're doing rather well in Ohio.
So where do the Democrats go then? What ammunition do they have to say, you know, our state is in a bad way? We heard one of the candidates for one of the lesser offices say there's an attack on the middle class, and that's kind of the mantra of where Democrats go.
It could be. Also, you can point to the fact that just because there is a budget, I mean, you can move past the jobs, because the truth be told, Governor Kasich just did what everybody else did. He kept the stimulus money. If he really thought he could stand and put Ohio on his back, he would have sent it back to Obama administration. So that not being the case, it's working class attack. Our educational system is falling apart, so we need somebody that can put this back together. You know, there are some other ways to go. Safety issues in Ohio. Do you want to look at concealed carry again? I mean, there are many ways to go with this. Gambling. There are lots. It's lots of issues.
And the philosophic differences between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, and just the one this past week about the abortion restrictions in the budget.
Really a lightning rod in that budget.
And I think that's where the Democrats will be focused, nitpicking on the various differences in the overall philosophes.
But
Why
are
is
the
it
smaller
nitpicking?
issues enough to
You're right. It may
to
be
win
a
the
little
election?
Why is it nitpicking,
All right,
London?
you guys can
That's
pick at each other.
campaigning.
And we're going to sign off. And you
All right.
mentioned 7 candidates, London, from the Toledo mayor's race. We'll follow that as we work our way through the summer. Take care, everybody. Happy Sunday.